All right. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So we are back on 428 Shibuya Scramble. We are almost done with this. I don't know that we'll get it finished tonight, but I think we will get fairly close. Maybe. We'll see. I think it depends on how stupid we are, and we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so our recap. Achi beat Kiryu and got Susumu and SOS to help him save Shibuya so we can get a second date with Hitomi. See, we both got to live in order for that second date to happen. You know, like, right now she's in danger, so we got to save her. Kano saluted Tateno wrong to unlock his route, where he and Kanan drove over to police barricades to get Maria to the lab before she can be quarantined. Kano also promised Jack a beer, unlocking his route and memories of his brother requesting dry ice for a bomb. Jack figured out that Alfred's plan is intentionally affected by everyone's mistakes, and then found a picture in Maria's bag. So, we can either figure out... Yeah, we've got a lot going on. So, we can either jump to Kano and figure out what's going on at the Scramble, or it looks like Tateno's route has changed for some reason. So maybe we should see what's going on with him first.
Yeah.
Thoughts? Alright.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Alright. Let's see if we manage to screw something up. Oops. I'll move my screen down so you can see me a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh, Tateno, that's me. Oh,
yep, that's you.
Okay, right. Okay. Tateno's phone rang and he picked up as he sped forward.
Oh, that's right.
Wow.
I forgot who was in the car.
Isn't it? Oh shit.
It's
Kanan?
No, it's Kajiwara. Well, Kanan's in our car, but remember there was the car that broke through the barricade before us?
Oh yeah.
I forgot about him.
Sad.
All right.
Very sad.
Guess we got to do this all over again. I might cry. We'll be okay.
No.
Were you able to break through safely?
It was the the voice of Detective Kajiwara. Tateno had thought he was at Osawa's residence.
Sorry.
Patrol car. Was that just you? No, I know that.
Okay.
That thing.
A call came in from Task Force HQ saying that Kano had found Maria. I figured maybe Kano was planning to take her to Okoshi Pharmaceutical, and so I thought he might need to make his way through one of the checkpoints here. But the fact that it was you, Detective Tateno, no, that was quite unexpected.
Yeah, he let out a weak chuckle. Kajiwara, are you hurt?
No, I just ran into a pole for fun.
I mean, look
feeling
at that
fantastic.
Window. That window sure looks great.
Yeah. No, don't worry about me. Just please help Maria. I made a promise to her father that I'd save his daughter, no matter what.
Wow. You're great. Tateno could hear the energy draining from Kajiwara's voice. Please don't die, damn. Understood. I'll keep that promise for you then.
Thank you.
No. Listen, how many people are... And then the line went dead, and hopefully he didn't, though.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. We got a lot of people hovering on the verge of death.
Wait, this is like the second one. Wait, no.
Let's see. We have our detective...
Death count, oh no!
Yeah, so we have our cosplay detective, who is in the hospital.
My baby.
We have Suzune, who's technically not really part of this, but is also sort of part of this. We now have Kajiwara. Maria is about to die in the next few hours. Let's see. I'm sure we have someone else.
Well, wait, no. Hitomi is not infected. I keep saying
that
she is
not infected.
Not.
Remember, she's got the antibodies because she was previously infected. But she got hit with the vaccine, or the serum, which is why Alfred now wants her blood.
That's true. Wow, that's a lot. All of Shibuya. Well,
Yeah,
you know,
technically
in a
you're not wrong.
way, in a way, all of Shibuya is kind of
If we
screwed over
really
right
fuck
now.
this over, you're not wrong.
Yeah. All right. He crashed headlong through that barricade, thanks to your boy. There was no way he'd come out of that uninjured. I'm sorry, Kajiwara, Tadano said to himself under his breath. And thank you. He bit his lip and then he stepped on the gas. Floored it.
I don't know why it made me do that again, but we've hit the
why?
keep out with them. So, let me make sure. I don't think we have any jumps for these two. Nope. All right. So, let's go ahead and unlock Kano. Because we're all headed to the Scramble.
For all of this, that's a scramble. Okay. Oh wait, that's a. Oh, it's a. Oh,
It's a
yeah.
jump because we keep hitting keep outs.
Here we go. Look at my nice watch, everyone. Anyway, that looks expensive. Hitomi, I don't like having to do this, but we can't wait any longer. Seeing the look of determination on Kano's face, she gave a tiny, reluctant nod. Her shoulders began to tremble. Hitomi.
I'll be all right. I'm just a little nervous. That's all.
Okay, girl. She was right to be nervous. Alphard was after the antiviral that she had in her bloodstream. Once he had it, Hitomi would become a liability that he'd want to dispose of. Right now, the only person who could keep her safe was Kano. He clenched his jaw tight and tried to look confident. Please, just try to relax. I'll protect you with my life if I have to. It's my job.
Protecting Hitomi is my job.
Oh,
Achi!
shit!
You're back! I said I'd see you through to the very end, didn't I? I know, like, talk about a goddamn superhero entrance. I love this man.
Yeah. Wow. Get you a boy like Achi.
I know. Yeah, you did.
Oh my god, I ship it. Hitomi gazed back at Achi with grateful reassurance. Opening theme, yes. The opening theme to play right now.
Yep.
Right now. Ahem! Lovebirds. Kano cleared his throat softly, but Achi and Hitomi continued to stare earnestly at one another. Oh my god!
Just kiss already.
Yeah, god. Oh no, just Susumu in the back like, damn, I don't get a piece of this action, that's sad.
Yeah, really.
He's really jealous right now. Eventually, the tough-looking young man standing behind Achi spoke up.
I've got 30. Will that be enough?
Yeah. Kano nodded. That'll be fine. Who are you? More importantly, have you heard what we'll be doing yet?
Catch the bad guy, keep Shibuya safe. Same old thing we always do.
Oh my god, you're a professional. The guy flashed a grin. Got it, Kano said. We'll be counting on you then. With 30-odd people at their disposal, they'd be able to encircle the meeting area no problem. Especially since they were all dressed like hip, trendy teenagers.
Yep.
You know? They blend in real nice.
They actually do at Shibuya Station, so, you know.
So nobody will suspect the random teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
The preparations were all set. It was time to confront Alphard at last.
All right, detective.
Achi shouted,
Let's do this.
"Ah, yeah." Kano gave a firm nod.
I will say, the opening theme is very cool in this. Like,
It's really nice.
it's very nice. Lots of brass, very jazz. I love it.
Ooh, that sounds fancy. Susumu, does this girl have a twin sister you could introduce me to? I mean, she does.
Yeah, but he'd have to fight Kanan for her, and Kanan is going to win.
Yeah, you finna die, Susumu.
Yeah.
You finna die today, bitch.
I wouldn't go after her.
No, you're better off not.
Kanan could kick your ass, but also Maria could kick your ass, so.
Oh yeah, for sure. 9 minutes later, 6:59 p.m., Kano and the others were in a position around the Scramble. Each subtle tick of the second hand was like a sharp prod to Kano's nerves. Y'all getting on my nerves. His whole body was stiff with tension. They could not let themselves fail. There was too much at stake. Here, now, hundreds of thousands of lives were on the line. Sorry, the dramatic text called for it.
And under the watchful eye of Ayakamiki.
Like, look at her go, what a queen! But Shibuya left out the area around the Scramble had been seized in panic, and there had been multiple traffic collisions. That sucks. The sidewalks were crowded with scared people. Overturned cars and abandoned motorcycles clogged the street.
I'd like to point out, we caused like 3 traffic collisions just today, so, you know.
Are we getting a ticket? I feel like we should get a ticket for that.
We should get something.
This chaos emergency vehicle sped by at furious speeds. But the fire and emergency personnel and even the police were short-handed at the whole Shibuya had begun to look like a war zone. I mean, it's gonna be.
A little bit.
Oh, a little bit. The main roads had been blocked by normal traffic and the trains were stopping at the station. In effect, the city was in a state of complete shutdown. Sucks to be us. Kano glanced again at his fancy wristwatch. 6:59 p.m. and 10 seconds. But who is riding the... Okay. 11 seconds, 12 seconds, 13 seconds, 14 seconds. He scarcely remembered to breathe. Who needs to breathe at this time? Tomi stood in front of the statue of Hachiko. She was carrying a briefcase this time. Wait, she wasn't! And then but the moment was otherwise a strange mirror of the stakeout at 10 o'clock that morning. What a nice cutscene. She looked terrified. I mean, I would.
Yeah, really.
Criminals weren't after some case full of money this time. This time they were after blood. Literally. Her blood. Literally her blood. Haru did a slow scan of the area. Hachi was standing not too far away. His companions were strewn about here and there, carrying on as normal. Here in Shibuya, those guys fit right in with the crowd. They had the area around Hitomi completely surrounded. Yet again, Kano looked at his watch. 6:59, 35 seconds. 36, 37, 38, oh my god, 39! He forced himself to take several deep breaths. Holy shit! He focused on the sound of his own heartbeat and exhaled until the breath was expelled from his lungs. And it all started. Shit. Kano's cell phone rang.
I've got him.
Shit. It was Daisuke.
The organ trafficker who devised the kidnapping. It's him.
Where is he? Kano asked. Is he close by?
I've got him on camera now. He's on the other side of the intersection.
Kano looked across the Scramble. There were so many people that it was hard to tell who was or wasn't suspicious. Which one are y'all sus? Can you describe him for me?
The tall, foreign guy. The one wearing glasses.
Okay. Tall foreigner. Kano's eyes drifted over the crowd. Okay. Tall foreign guy. Tall foreign guy. Tall foreign guy. Oh shit!
And we know him.
We
haven't talked about him in a while, but...
Aha! It's that guy! There he was! And he got closer, Kano's eyes went wide. This man was someone he'd met before. Did we?
We did meet him.
Did we? Leland Palmer, the lecturer from the English department at Hitomi and Maria School. Oh yeah, wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what? Oh shit! Okay, is he Alfred? Palmer was walking right toward Hitomi. Hitomi didn't seem to have noticed him yet. Oh shit. When Kano glanced back at his wristwatch, it was 7 p.m. on the dot. When Hitomi realized Palmer was approaching her, she was too stunned to react. Well, I mean, damn. He walked directly up to her, the corners of his mouth curling up into a smile like the Grinch.
Hello, Hitomi.
He said in English, not like we haven't been speaking English this entire time. But
How are you doing? Professor Palmer, what are you doing here?
Hitomi's voice came out in an anxious squeak.
Why, I'm here to take your blood, of course.
This time he spoke in Japanese, and with an easy fluency totally different from his usual manner of speech.
I'm the one who injected you with the WA virus.
When? Okay, but when? Oh.
I'd been waiting so long for the opportunity to arise. It's been quite agonizing, you know, spending 6 months and more pretending to be a mild-mannered English lecturer. Professor, you're Alfred, aren't you? Let's get down to business, shall we? Neither of us has much time.
Hitomi stiffened.
Please, tell me the laboratory password.
Okay.
After I have your blood. This will only take a few seconds. I've got a device here that will make the extraction quite simple. No way! The password first! That would violate the terms we already negotiated.
Hitomi and Palmer glared at one another.
Alright,
Hitomi said at last.
why don't you negotiate with Kanan instead? Kanan?
Hitomi took her cell phone and dialed the bank. No. But the phone rang repeatedly and Kanan did not pick up. What?
What's going on?
Hitomi's face went pale.
Come on, Kanan!
Kano, standing near enough to overhear her conversation, grew increasingly anxious as he watched the pair stare at the phone. What was the right move here? Should he keep waiting?
Alright, are we going to wait for the call to go through or rush into action? Because we can't count on Kanan right now.
Oh shit.
This decision will have consequences.
Exactly. That's why I'm scared. Like, Kanan right now is in a car.
Yep.
So, but we know they didn't crash unless they've been crashing this entire time and we just don't know.
So based on where they are in the timeline, so this is where we're at. Kanan and Tatano are all the way back up at 6:30. So we're at 7 o'clock. We have no idea where Kanan is at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, fine. We'll attack them.
All right, let's rush into action.
At this point, they couldn't count on Kanan anymore. Kano rushed into action. Shonen hero. Freeze! Kano drew his gun and trained it on Palmer. Nearby pedestrians scattered in fear. Seeing the moment, Achi darted to protect Hitomi. Hey, good boy! Palmer let out a tiny sigh.
So you're breaking the terms we agreed upon then?
I don't negotiate with terrorists, bitch. Kano inched his way closer, his point of aim never wavering.
We've been hanging out with Stanley for too long.
Yeah, his influence is clearly great. Hitomi! He shouted. Call Kanan again. Again, Hitomi dialed her cell phone. Palmer opened the briefcase he was carrying. One more move and I shoot! Kano shouted. But the terrorist ignored the warning, producing a set of small glass vessels from within the case. Oh no, don't tell me that's the WA virus.
If you want to shoot me, then shoot me.
He said.
Assuming you don't mind getting this scattered about.
Is that...
Surely you don't need me to explain.
Stanley was right. Alfred had weaponized the virus. Shit. Doing his best to conceal his horror, Kano tried to sound defiant. Alright,
are we going to ask how can I even know that's real, or you can't let that loose here? Sorry, sir, that's illegal.
Sir, that's illegal. You're not allowed to have a WA virus in your possession randomly in the Scramble. Jeez, don't you know the rules?
Clearly that reasoning is going to work on him.
Yeah, we can't let that loose here be because he will do it. Like, he'll be like, okay, and just let it out. Throw it somewhere.
Okay, so you
I
want to
don't
do
trust
B?
this bitch. Yeah, I don't trust this bitch. As far as I can throw him, which is not very far. You can't let that loose here.
And why is that?
Because if you do, you'll be infected too. Ha.
True, but so will all of the innocent bystanders around us.
A thin smile crawled across his ugly face. Did you come here to carry out a suicide attack, Mr. Alvard?
Hardly. I have no desire to die here. All I want is to get a little of this girl's blood and then go quietly on my way. But that all depends on you, doesn't it?
His face was overflowing with confidence, and I hated it. Kano couldn't shake the feeling that something was off here. Something about this man's demeanor hinted at something.
Well then, what will it be?
Palmer continued.
Will you condemn the people of Shibuya to death?
No. Cursing inwardly, Kano lowered his... God damn it. Palmer flashed a triumphant grin and then resumed his stroll towards Hitomi. She stood frozen on the spot. I mean, I would too.
Yeah, really.
No.
Susumu!
The shout had come from Achi. Oh, here we go, guys. Here we go, boys. Here we go, boys. Strength in numbers is the saying and stuff. In an instant, a dozen members of SOS headed towards Palmer from all sides.
Tough luck, pal.
This was it.
Turns out we're not actually innocent bystanders.
Now it was his turn to grin.
You're completely surrounded. Give up and tell us the password now. And just for the record, we ain't scared of no virus. Or ghosts. Just for the record.
Glad to know the ghost thing is tough-looking young men radiated bravado. Bravado, not vibrato. What the? Without hesitation, they closed in around the kidnapper.
Surrounded? You certainly don't look like police.
We're the Shibuya police, special force. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Palmer cast a bemused glance around himself.
You're right about that.
Hachi said.
I mean, just take a look. I gathered up a bunch of people who love Shibuya more than their own lives in order to take your ass down.
I love this man.
Mm-hmm.
He kept Hitomi shielded behind him while he spoke.
There's no escape.
He declared.
You've lost.
Yeah,
lost? Me? Well, it sure doesn't look like you're gonna get away.
Palmer grimaced at Achi's words.
I see. Then it appears our negotiations are at a close. Enough of the high and mighty act.
Susumu stomped aggressively towards Palmer. Hey! Kano snapped. Easy now. Couldn't risk a scuffle sending the virus crashing to the ground.
What a shame.
Palmer swung his right arm up high.
Uh-oh.
No!
Uh-oh.
This is the longest no I've ever had in my life. Everyone watching this man has a headshot on fuck. Miles had been holding sailed up upward against the backdrop of the evening said, God damn it.
Look out!
Hachi shouted,
Catch him! Catch him!
Gotta catch 'em all!
Okay,
Gotta
Miles.
catch 'em all! Wild virus! Okay, no. The rustling Miles, that's terrible. And began to fall. It seemed impossible that Kano's team would be able to keep them all from shattering against the ground. I should have grabbed his arm. The SOS members fanned out, positioning themselves as best they could to intercept the falling vials. Kano likewise prepared to catch one that was heading straight towards him. Virus mon. Yeah, probably. Isn't that just Deoxys? I don't know. Or Genesect? I don't know what it is. As he did, he caught sight of Palmer speeding away. Kano made his mind up on the spot. There was only one right call there. And he needed to make it.
Alright. Are we going to catch the vial, or are we going to chase after Palmer?
Well, catch the vial because, yeah, Palmer's a douche. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But if the virus gets out in the middle of Shibuya right now, there's like a lot of people who are gonna like die.
Mm-hmm.
Especially right now.
So protect the lives of the people?
Yeah. I know Stanley's gonna kill me, but he'll get over it. He had to protect the lives of the people nearby. As much as he wanted to apprehend this criminal, he couldn't sacrifice innocent people to do it. I'm a good cop. Kano caught one of the balls deftly in both hands.
Yay!
He did it! Hopefully... Carefully, he examined it for damage. Seeing that the vial didn't appear broken, he let out a sigh of relief. Then he looked around for Palmer, but there was no sign of him. Damn it! Mastermind had gotten away! Vanished without a trace. Well, at least we know his face now. And his name. Maybe. Maybe name. Maybe face. Amidst the frantic crowd of the Scramble, a lone criminal could blend in an instant, becoming just another pedestrian. Trying to find him now would probably be a hopeless endeavor. I mean, he's a foreigner in Japan. I don't know, man. I don't know. It might be a little bit easier than anything. Oh, wait, bad
and
end.
We've hit a bad end. Number 66,
Wait,
failed
what?
capture. And we do not get hints on this one, so. Alright, do we want to jump to Achi and see what's going on with him? Or do we want to try to change one of our answers and see what's... and try to fix Kano?
Well, obviously one of our answers is going to be right?
Not necessarily.
Then,
because if Achi's
right.
changes something, then... Yeah.
True. Okay, well then we'll go to Achi.
Alright. Go ahead and jump to Achi.
Yeah, jumpity jump.
Da 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 da. Was this guy Alfred? The man arrived in front of Hitomi and began speaking to her. Hitomi, Maria, even Achi's father. This must be the guy who was responsible for everything. Achi felt a pressing urge to flatten him right then and there. Still, he knew he couldn't blow his cover until Kano gave the signal. Suppressing his raw emotions, he readied himself for action. Alright. He hurt me and I'll hurt him back. We're gonna take some revenge. Are we going to focus on protecting Hitomi? Or do we just want to catch this guy? So, revenge, protection, or justice?
Well, in Kano's route, we kind of just like protected her.
Mm-hmm.
Like we just shielded her. So I guess we should stick with that.
Okay.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with it.
Protecting Hitomi has to come first. I can't let anything happen to her. Look, if she dies, we don't get our second date. So, you know, like, this is important. Why hasn't it happened yet? Why hasn't Kano given the signal?
He's waiting. Freeze!
Suddenly, Kano rushed forward, his gun drawn. Ignoring the pain in his leg, Achi dashed for Hitomi as fast as he could. He cut in between Kano and Alfred, quickly pulling Hitomi out of danger.
Hitomi!
Kano shouted.
Call Kaden again.
Shielded by Achi now, she brought up her cell phone and dialed the number.
1-800-Kaden. No, no.
But some time passed and there was no answer. Had there been some kind of trouble on Kanan's end? Looking increasingly worried, Hitomi tried calling several more times. Then Alfred withdrew some strange vials from the briefcase he'd brought. Kano's face wavered with alarm. This had to be the terrorist trump card then. Kano and Alfred were having some sort of debate. Achi couldn't hear the specifics, but tensions were clearly running high. Kano hesitantly lowered his gun. Alfred flashed a haughty, confident grin. Looks like it's time for our trump card. Susumu! Achi shouted at the top of his lungs.
Here we go.
At his signal, the gang emerged from the crowd, and the gang moved en masse to hem Alfred in.
Surrounded.
Now the terrorist was visibly at a loss.
You certainly don't look like police.
You're right about that, Achi said. I mean, just take a look. I gathered up a bunch of people who love Shibuya more than their own lives in order to take your ass down. As he spoke, he made sure to keep Hitomi shielded behind him. The pain in his leg was getting worse and worse, but he tried his utmost not to let it show. There's no escape, he declared. You've lost.
Lost? Lost me?
Well, it sure doesn't look like you're gonna get away. Alfred grimaced at Achi's words.
Then it appears our negotiations are at a close.
Why did he still seem so confident? Something definitely didn't feel right. Alright, is this just a bluff because he knows he can't get away, or does he just really not care if he survives?
Well, since last time we were too careful, I guess it's a bluff.
Alright. This is just a bluff. He knows he can't get away. His only chance would be to try to spread the virus around and then take off while everyone was distracted, which meant they needed to just grab the guy and be done with it.
Somebody grab him. Enough of the high and mighty act.
Susumu shouted. Evidently, he shared Achi's opinion. He began to stomp toward Alfred, but he didn't reach him in time.
No, not again. Why?
The vials in Alfred's hand went sailing high into the air. Look out! Catch him! Catch him! Achi gestured for his comrades to fan out across the open space. The vials seemed to almost vanish against the backdrop of the evening sky. How many of them had this guy even thrown? There was no way to tell for sure. And if even one of them broke open, it would be a death sentence for Shibuya. They had to make sure they caught them all. Spinning around in the midst of chaos, Achi saw Susumu catch one vial deftly. Many of the other gang members appeared to have done the same. There's one more! Over there! Oh, that's Hitomi.
No.
The desperate shout had come from Hitomi. She'd spotted a vial sailing in a high arc away from all the SOS members. Damn it! Achi launched into motion, ignoring the searing pain in his leg, but the falling vial was so far away. They were done for. He was sure of it. A pair of hands shot out and safely grabbed the falling vial. Okay, so we need Kano to catch that vial then.
Okay.
It was Kano. The tension drained from Achi's body. We did it. We didn't break a single one.
Damn it.
Kano cursed under his breath as he stared out into the throng.
Got away.
Alfred had disappeared. They hadn't been able to capture him after all, which meant they'd lost their last chance to get the password for the lab. They hadn't just lost, they'd failed utterly. But we did everything we could have, right? We didn't make any wrong calls. We'll just have to leave everything to Kanan. Have to trust that she'll be able to save Maria. Achi stared up into the night sky, trying to reassure himself.
When in doubt, leave it to Kanan.
Alright, we have also hit the bad end. Number 73, it failed capture. Unfortunately, I do not know what we did wrong off the top of my head. Yeah, because these two are both at bad ends, and you two are at keep outs, so...
They were both, we both said they both bluffed, so, what's the...
That's okay.
Like...
It's a Kano jump.
What's the point? I'm cleaning my glasses, I can't see.
That's Minorikawa. That's Kano. Taking a look at all of our jumps to make sure that I didn't miss anyone. Alright, so obviously we're in the bad place.
We're in a bad place, you guys. We're in a bad place.
I think we've already done that one for him. Alright.
Why are my glasses so foggy today? What?
Been there.
Oh my god, they're just so damn foggy. I can't see a thing.
Okay, I do remember having problems with this the first time, so
That's right.
we're just gonna look it up.
What if we gave him Suzune's blood and claimed it was Hitomi's? Oh.
I don't think we have time for that.
I mean, what if we say, here's the blood, take it? But then again, he wouldn't be stupid enough to, like, fall for it, you know? He'd be like, I don't know that's her blood. It could be, like, anyone's. So, I don't think that's gonna work even if we wanted it to. The studs of Shibuya are better than police. Yes, I agree. The studs of Shibuya.
Okay, Kano. Of course, this one has all of the bad ends too. Okay, so where is keep out? Ow. Jack, 1845. Oh, where's Jack? There he is. Nope, we don't have that one yet.
I just had a bowl of ramen, but I want another bowl of ramen. Damn. It'd be like that sometimes.
Okay. This one is... Hilariously, we're not having problems where we usually are.
Right. Like,
Okay, so we're missing a Stanley jump. Basically, is what
We
it looks
are?
like. Yeah.
can we? What would you do?
Okay, Minorikawa. Jump to Achi. Okay, jump to Kano. Okay. Jump to Achi. Okay. Jump from Tateno. Okay, so I think we need to do a different thing here.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so instead we're gonna find another way around so we don't kill Kajiwara.
They have to find another way around. Get in the back seat, Tano told Kanan.
Why?
I want you to hold on to Maria so she doesn't fall. Spicy green came to Kanan's face.
You got it.
Wee! Tachino waited until Kanan had made her way into the back seat and then he floored it! And he threw the minivan into reverse and jammed his foot on the gas. He cut the steering wheel sharply to one side, a loud screeching filling the air as a centrifugal force made the vehicle tilt. And a patrol car. What the fuck? Not again. What the? Jammed on the brakes. Police cruiser in front of the minivan, turning ahead right towards the roadblock, crashing into the barricaded plot through, stopping.
Okay.
There it goes.
Yeah, this doesn't look
Yeah.
too much different.
Yeah, should we go back and try the other one?
I don't know. We're gonna see. Okay, we're barreling through. Who's driving it?
What,
Blah blah blah. Were you able to break through safely? Patrol car just now.
Are we supposed to kill Kajiwara every time?
I mean, like, if he's gonna do it, it's not like we can affect what he does because we no longer have Osawa, so...
Do not seek the ramen lady. Oh yeah, you're right, I can't.
Yeah. Saving his daughter. Okay, so we should still hit a keep out here, but... Line goes dead. Barricade. Sorry, Kajiwara. We're gonna get there. Thank you. Okay, so we should still get that keep out.
Right.
But
Did it change Stanley?
let's see. Let's see. I don't remember what we chose. Okay, what do we got for Stanley? Okay, so let's... Okay, we've got at least one of these answers wrong too. So, okay, so the reason Alfred had Daisuke carry out the kidnapping was to carry out some other objective. He'd set up the kidnapping, devised the ransom relay, and kept the full attention of the police on that. All the while, Alfred himself was working towards his true goal, getting Hitomi's blood, which meant that Daisuke kidnapping Maria by mistake had in fact been a misstep. That was why, in the end, Alfred had proposed trading the password for Hitomi's blood. Could that really be it? Stanley decided to take it up with the man himself. Mr. Endo, let me ask you something. Did you know Hitomi had a twin sister before the kidnapping?
I didn't know.
So when did you find out?
After I had Maria kidnapped, the organ trafficker took one look at her and said I had the wrong girl, and said I was supposed to have abducted the younger one.
He never mentioned Hitomi having a twin before this all started?
Nope. If I'd known, I'd have been a lot more careful.
Alfred had certainly known that the Osawa girls were twins, but despite the added risk that fact implied, he hadn't told Daisuke. There was only one logical conclusion. Daisuke's mistake hadn't been an accident. Alfred had intended for the wrong sister to get kidnapped. By using an amateur, Alfred had set up the police to write off Daisuke's kidnapping of the wrong target as a simple misstep. Had Daisuke been brought in simply in the name of camouflage? But why? Alfred was after Hitomi's blood. Daisuke was after Hitomi's heart. They both wanted the same thing, so why target Maria instead? Stanley's train of logic had run out of steam again. Still, he was sure he was on the right track. He just needed to keep following till he found out where that track would lead.
It took me this long. Like, it's been how many times we play this game? I just realized how anime Jack is. They gave him sunglasses indoors all the time.
Where's the storeroom where you were keeping Maria? He asked. Daisuke hung his head.
Behind the shop, why do you ask?
Would you mind showing me? There's something I'd like to check. At this point, he needed to go back over everything right from the beginning. He followed Daisuke out to the storeroom. Okay, so that changed that. And now we're going to change this one here, because I think this one is... Okay, so he's going to trade her for Hitomi. He was going to trade her for Hitomi. It certainly seemed reasonable enough. He needed to kidnap Maria in order to infect her with the virus first and foremost, and she had indeed been injected with it at 8 o'clock that morning. Next, Alfred would have carried out a hostage exchange for Hitomi in order to obtain her blood. Maria would be free to go, but infected with Wa. What purpose would that serve? It was simple enough to deduce. Once he learned that Maria had the virus, Kenji Osawa was certain to take action. He would bring her into the storage facility in order to administer the antiviral, just as he'd done with Hitomi. That meant that the storage facility would be opened once more. That was what Alfred was really after, a way in so that he could destroy the antiviral samples at the lab. It was the only logical conclusion. Infecting Hitomi 6 days earlier had ensured that she would be carrying the DDS in her body, but it had also served as a sort of dry run for today. If it turned out that Osawa wasn't able to access the antiviral storage on his own, the entire plan would fall apart. Hitomi had been a test case in order to make sure. The negotiations at the Scramble were almost certainly a smokescreen. Alfred wanted to lure Stanley and the others to the Scramble in order to clear the way for an assault on the lab in the meantime. The first order of business was to stop him from getting inside. But how? Should Stanley leave the stakeout at the Scramble for Kano and the others while he headed to the lab himself? He couldn't decide that alone. He headed back into the shop with Daisuke to see where things stood with the others. Alright, so we've had that keep out. Okay, so now Kano, 1840. Let's make sure that we made the right choice here.
Bro, I love you, bro. Me too, bro. They're bros.
That Kano, brother. I thought this was the...
Fear, promise.
Yeah, that's the same one. Okay, so that's not it. Oops. Okay, can't count on skin anymore.
Where did we go wrong? No.
Option B, you can't let that loose here. Aha!
Oh?
We have changed history. Okay. So...
Yeah,
Alright, blah 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 blah.
There goes the vials and
Yep.
shit.
Throwing that shit up. You're completely surrounded. We ain't scared of no ghosts.
Or virusi.
We're not the police.
Viruses.
We love Shibuya.
Virusus. Sus virus.
Alright, High and Mighty Act. What a shame. Time to throw this shit like confetti.
It's going down, 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 down. Play your party music now.
Yeah. Holy shit, we gotta catch this shit.
Party people.
Alright, and we have Ayakamiki.
Oh shit! Ayakamiki to the rescue!
Da 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 da!
Hell yeah!
And shit blew up.
A tremendous blast blew Kano off his feet. As he crashed to the pavement, searing pain shot through his entire body. He knew once that a bomb had gone off, but why? It didn't make any sense. Alpha had no intention to carry out a suicidal terror attack. Kano was certain of that. If that had been his intent, he could have just done so at any time, without going through anywhere. Well, was there some reason that this guy would blow himself up under these circumstances at this specific moment? As he lay dying, Kano had thought. Could it be? Had Stanley not come to the scramble because he knew this was gonna happen?
And we have that jump. Alright, we have hit that bad end.
Did we die?
We did die. It was a mysterious explosion. It
Damn it.
killed the shit out of us. But
I knew Ayakamiki was the real Alphard all along. No, I highly doubt that.
we now have our... Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, could it be? And let's jump to Stanley.
Stanley.
Alright, we are back on track.
Why did we die? We just keep dying. All the characters just keep dying.
Kano's plan of action for the scramble was steadily coming together. Stanley half listened as the young detective discussed the stakeout with the rest of the group. His own mind was still caught up with the question of what he himself should do. He couldn't shake the conviction that he needed to head to the lab. Even assuming that Alfred really did turn up at the scramble, and assuming that he carried out another bioterror attack there, the worst that could happen would be a disaster in Shibuya. Terrible though that might be, it would be far worse to let Alfred, who was already in possession of the WA virus, destroy the world's only supply of the antiviral. If he succeeded at that scheme, this bioweapon would be unstoppable. He could hold the entire planet in the grip of fear. A terrorist arms dealer must never be allowed to obtain that kind of power. Stanley couldn't take that risk. Even if he was wrong in his suspicions, it only made sense to shore up the defense of the lab. There was only one person he could count on now, Kanan. She was on her way to the lab already. If Stanley could alert her to his conclusions, it would make it that much harder for Alfred to carry out his plan. If nothing else, hopefully she could buy time for Stanley to get there. Stanley approached Kano. You need to go to the Scramble without me, he said.
What?
Kano was visibly shocked.
Where's this coming from all of a sudden, Bae?
Please, don't ask me to explain. Something else has come up, and I have to see to it. Stanley hated having to do this. He wished he could explain everything. If he made any unusual moves now, though, there was a risk Alfred would pick up on it. There was no telling where the mastermind might be watching. It was better to keep his companions in the dark, just in case.
I understand.
Kano said.
Do what you have to do and come back to me.
I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you more.
It's alright. I'll find a way to get by.
Kano gave him the thumbs up. The sight brought back some painful memories. Up until just a few hours ago, Stanley had instinctively seen Kano as all too naive, and now he finally knew why. Kano was just like his younger brother, Frank.
Oh no, we're like Frank.
We got the thumbs
it's
up.
the same thumbs up now.
They might have looked very different, but in the way they mixed up their responsibilities with their personal feelings, they were totally alike. Stanley couldn't discount that naivety. And in the end, that was all part of the human condition.
Jack, are you really okay with this?
Frank cast an anxious look at his older brother as they made their way onto the University of Chicago campus. It's my responsibility to look after you, Stanley told him. As long as you take your studying seriously, I'm all for it. Frank had been worrying about tuition costs as he prepared for college. After losing their parents 5 years earlier, the two had struggled to get by.
Yeah, but...
Stanley set both hands on his brother's shoulders. Listen to me, Frank. You're my brother, and I care about you. I just want whatever you do to be something you can be proud of.
Thanks, brother.
I know, this is the most emotion we've ever seen from Stanley. It's fine.
Yeah, damn. Alright, Jack. I hear you. Thanks.
Kano, promise me one thing.
What's that?
Once this is all over, you'll go have a beer with me.
My god, thank you. Sure, alright.
That's a promise now, remember? Kano flashed him a grateful smile. And in that smile, Stanley again saw a little something of Frank.
Oni-chan. No.
Hurrying out of Endo Electronics, Stanley dialed up Tateno as he ran along. It's Stanley.
What's going on?
What I'm about to tell you is mere conjecture on my part, but for now, let's assume I'm mostly on the right track. He took a deep breath and steeled his nerves. I think Alfred is heading to the lab. He's planning on hitting it to destroy the antiviral.
Are you serious?
Tateno's voice was laced with apprehension. Yes, you need to turn back right away. I'll go to the lab with Kanan. The detective's only reply was silence. Did you hear me, Tateno? This is an opponent who's out of your league. Turn back. I'll handle the...
I can't do that.
Now Tateno's tone was calm and steady.
My job is to get Maria to the lab as soon as humanly possible. Whether Alfred is coming or not doesn't change that.
Don't be absurd. Even if you do have Kanan with you, you can't keep Maria safe and still win the fight that's coming.
I'll give my own life to protect that girl if it comes down to it.
Stanley could tell he'd never overcome this degree of stubbornness. Fine, have it your way then, but I'm heading to the lab too. Whatever you do, do not let your guard down.
Understood.
Tateno would be no match for Alfred. If the terrorist spotted the detective, he'd probably kill him on the spot. Reassurance or encouragement would be meaningless. Instead, Stanley left Tateno with one final warning. Alright, if it comes down to it, just shoot him. If you hesitate for a moment, he'll have you dead. Find some way to stall until I get there. If he realizes we're onto him, you're done for. Or just keep Maria safe, that's your job.
Shoot him down!
Alright.
Actually, that was gonna be my complaint. I'm like, Kano, as soon as you knew who Alfred was, no offense, you should have shot him.
I mean, we didn't have the password.
Oh. You're right.
Yeah.
Never mind. But...
If it comes down to it, just shoot him. If you hesitate for a moment, he'll have you dead. Tateno hung up without saying anything.
Hi.
He's such an excellent conversation.
Yeah.
Stanley made it to his car still parked on the roadside. Jumping in, he sped off toward the laboratory. Traffic had gotten pretty congested by the time he made it out onto the main road. The chaos and panic from the area around Shibuya Station was starting to spread. His frustration steadily growing, Stanley fought his way along the congested streets. Just as his aggravation was beginning to boil over, he finally arrived at the Okoshi Pharmaceutical Laboratory. He could tell immediately that something was wrong. Uh-oh. A plume of smoke was rising from one of the laboratory windows.
Shit.
It was thick and black, clearly the result of a fire of some sort. Stanley hopped out of the car, drawing his gun as he approached the door. Shoot the fire.
Yeah, we should shoot the fire. That makes sense.
He was about to make his way inside when a scent on the air stopped him in his tracks. The smokes carried the telltale odor of explosive residue. He hadn't made it on time. All his fears had come to pass. Maria, Osawa, Hateno, Kanan, they were all surely dead. And no doubt the antiviral had all been either stolen or incinerated. In all likelihood, moreover, viral samples from the lab had been dispersed by the explosion. Stanley cursed. He'd already inhaled some of the smoke. This really was the worst-case scenario. They'd been utterly defeated. Stanley called up Gordon to request backup for a sweep of the laboratory. He knew that it was already too late to change anything. Even so, Stanley would go through all the motions before he admitted defeat. Alright, we have a clear bad end.
God
Now we
damn
know
it.
what created the explosion, but we have the jump to Tateno. We're gonna fail a lot on this one, just as a heads up.
What is happening anymore? If only Tateno were doused himself in gasoline again.
I know, right?
God damn it, Tateno. The one time you need to douse yourself in gasoline. God, you don't do it. That was your signature move, bro. Come on. That was your final smash. Once they made it past Shibuya Station, the roads were relatively clear. They ought to make it to the lab in no time. Tateno's phone rang. It was Stanley! What's going on? He asked the American.
What I'm about to tell you is mere conjecture on my part, but for now, let's assume I'm mostly on the right track.
Stanley's voice was filled with tension. Tateno braced himself for bad news.
I think Alfred is heading to the lab. He's planning on hitting it to destroy the antiviral.
Are you serious? It was even worse than he feared. Alfred head into the lab?
Yes, you need to turn back right away. I'll go to the lab with Kanan. Is something wrong?
Kanan asked, peering at him from the backseat. He couldn't hide the fact that he was trembling. She was perfectly calm, unfazed by the possibility of further complications. Perhaps she had already anticipated something like this happening.
Did you hear me, Tateno?
Stanley said,
This is an opponent who's out of your league. Turn back. I'll handle the...
I can't do that, Tateno replied, managing to regain his composure. My job is to get Maria to the lab as soon as humanly possible. Whether Alfred is coming or not doesn't change that.
Don't be absurd. Even if you do have Kanan with you, you can't keep Maria safe and still win the fight that's coming.
Maybe Stanley was right. Almost certainly he was. But Tateno couldn't put Maria's life in danger by turning back in order to save his own. Kanan! Tateno glanced at the young woman in the backseat.
Yes?
If Alfred shows up, don't worry about protecting me. Just keep Maria safe.
You got it.
It's like, duh.
Yeah, you didn't have to tell her that.
Well, duh, old man. That was all Tateno needed to hear.
She would sell you for 2 nickels if it was going to keep Maria safe, so, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'll give my own life to protect that girl if it comes down to it, he's told Stanley.
Fine, have it your way then. But I'm heading to the lab too. Whatever you do, do not let your guard down.
Understood. Tateno hung up. We're going on a road trip!
That was Stanley?
Kanan asked. She'd probably already surmised the situation. Even so, she showed no sign of concern.
Because this is Kanan.
Yeah, she a honey badger. At last, the minivan arrived at Okoshi Pharmaceutical. Tono pulled up at the front gate and got out of the vehicle. Off to one side of the entrance was an intercom for contacting the security room. I'm assuming you've already heard the details from the director, Tatano barked into the intercom. Open up!
We haven't heard anything from Director Osawa.
Security guard spat back.
And moreover, the laboratory is currently on lockdown. I'm sorry, but not even Director Osawa is allowed inside.
That's ridiculous! Tatano scowled at the intercom in frustration. Then a car came racing towards him along the street. Oh shit! Sound of screeching brakes filled the air and the vehicle skidded to a halt. Then Kenji Osawa jumped out from the driver's seat.
Maria!
Hello, Kenji Osawa. Osawa rushed to Tano, then to Maria where she lay in the minivan. He looked carefully at his daughter's face.
Oh, thank goodness. She still hasn't gone symptomatic.
Osawa, why aren't people being allowed into the laboratory? Osawa tilted his head.
They're not?
Tatano explained what the guard said.
That's ridiculous.
Osawa immediately called the security guard on the intercom. He's got the same story.
You've got to be kidding me!
Osawa raged.
I'm the lab director here!
But the security guard wasn't hearing it.
I'm sorry, sir. These orders come from Mr. Makino. No.
Fuck you, Makino.
So am I just supposed to sit out here and watch my daughter die?
Tatano racked his brain for other ideas. Maybe they'd have to climb the gate and break their way in. Then, over the intercom, they heard the sound of phone ringing in the security room. Shit. The security guard answered, without needing the intercom speaker. His voice was faintly audible. He sounded rather deferential. Who in the world could he be talking to? Before Tatano could muse further, the gate suddenly opened.
Well, now
Oh,
this feels
shit.
even more ominous.
Huh? Why? Tatano and Osawa looked at one another in surprise.
I have a message for Director Osawa from Mr. Makino.
Security guard said.
From Makino?
Osawa huddled over the intercom and he had a brief sotto voce exchange with the guard. What was that all about? Tatano asked.
It, would seem that my wife was able to pull some strings for us.
Osawa smiled uncomfortably. Tatano didn't have time to wonder what that might mean.
But hey, like, I did not want us to go, so, you know.
Yeah. Has that lock opened up for us as well, he asked. The smile disappeared from Osawa's face.
No, she wasn't able to do anything about the final layer of security.
I see. Well, let's regroup inside for now,
Very well.
Osawa said.
By the way, who's going to be hacking the password? I am.
Kino replied.
Ah, so you're Kanan. We should get you to the laboratory then.
Well, damn. She looks like a superhero and I don't. After checking to make sure there was nobody suspicious lurking up nearby, Tatano headed into the laboratory with the others. This marriage isn't wholly unsalvageable.
No, I'm pretty sure the marriage is still unsalvageable. She's just not a complete piece of shit, so...
Yeah. It took about 20 seconds for the elevator to reach the first basement level. The biohazard storage area was evidently fairly deep underground. Ooh. The doors opened to reveal a long, straight corridor. There was a door at the end with a device at one side for checking IDs. Kanan approached the device, setting the laptop she'd borrowed from the security room on the floor in front of it. She affixed a scrap of paper with Kenji Osawa's password written on it on one side of the monitor. Then she connected a series of cables to both the laptop and the device. Tatano tried to contain his sense of urgency, focusing on keeping watch over Kanan as she worked. Kanan began to slowly tap away at the keyboard. Her screen displayed a series of numeric values that changed with each keystroke. She checked the changes carefully, timing the movements of her fingers according to some formula. The ID device let out a warning sound, and the display lit up. Incorrect password. The input had been rejected. Was this really going to work? Tatno felt impatience growing. Can't rush art! Soma's face showed a similar unease. Kanan turned to look at them.
How many failed attempts are we allowed? 2, I believe.
Soma answered.
After a third failed attempt, the storage area is locked down and can't be reopened without input from the full board of directors.
Kanan had already resumed typing before he finished speaking. There was a very slight difference in power consumption from the device when it processed a correct password compared to an incorrect one. There's a minuscule difference in the time it takes to run the process as well. If I can analyze those and compare them, Kanan's voice trailed off. She continued working. There was another warning sound. A second failed attempt. A single bead of sweat ran down Tatano's forehead. But Kanan didn't so much as bat an eyelash.
Ah, I see.
Her face remained full of confidence.
It won't be a problem.
He assured them.
This isn't my first time with this type of mechanism.
Slowly, one at a time, Kanan pressed key after key while keeping her eyes fixed on the laptop screen. With each keystroke, a waveform at the top of the screen looking almost like a echocardiogram readout. Wobbly slightly. Wobbled. Yes, wobbled. That's a word. The laptop let out a tiny sound. A sequence of 10 characters appeared on the screen and Kanan read them off. Hano jotted them down in the notebook, then stepped to the scanner to enter the twin passwords for Osawa and Tanaka.
Da-da-da-da!
Oh shit!
We got in!
Door opened! Kanan let out a sigh of relief. Osawa gathered up Maria and headed to the storage area. Tano felt a surge of relief as he watched the two of them go. Kanan, meanwhile, was fastidiously putting away her equipment. What do you think? Tano asked her.
About what?
She asked, her gaze as serious as ever. About Alphard. Why hasn't he shown up? If what Stanley had said was true, Alphard ought to be coming their way. It was both strange and unsettling that they'd been able to get inside without any interference. This isn't over yet, Tatno continued. Don't let your guard down until we know Alphard has been dealt with.
Right.
Kanan pulled up. You
was
keep
a
those
pistol.
two safe. Yeah, oh, the pistol, yes.
You keep those two safe.
Good.
I'll go check things out front.
Wanna kill a bitch. Yay. She got back onto the elevator and headed up. I got a cane, and I'm not afraid of you. Left alone in the hallway, Tatano was enveloped in eerie silence. He drew his gun from the holster, then went into the storage area to join Osawa and his daughter. His cane and the soles of his shoes echoed, and the hard surfaces all around. Why can I hear this in my head?
Unsurprisingly, they also gave us the audio for it.
Oh, nice. At the end of the hallway, Tatano came to another door. He took up position there, determined to guard the two individuals inside. This was the only way in. If anyone's coming, they'd have to pass through here. Putting his back to the door, he let out a sigh. Great weight of exhaustion settled over him. Too much had happened over the past few hours. He'd recalled too many painful memories that had long been buried deep in his mind. He'd realized that his whole life was rife with things that he could never undo. If you're coming, then come on. Tatno aimed his gun down at the empty corridor. Right now, he just needed to protect Maria. That had become his life's sole purpose. After almost killing Hitomi, but Suddenly, the door that was in front of him was blown off its hinges with a tremendous explosion. The shockwave traveling down the corridor struck him in an instant later. Tano had neither the time to wonder what had happened nor any chance to avert his fate. What?
Alright, so we got a bad end for him.
What?
Alright, but I think... so if we do this one... Let me double check this. Let's see.
It has to be Alphard doing the explodey.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we are going back to our original thing. He was going to release her at some later time. We gotta turn Shibuya into ground zero.
Look at our Johnny Bravo ass hair. You know?
I know.
His hair is so pointy.
It is.
I just realized how pointy it actually is.
Okay, so now, what is the ultimate goal? Okay, there we go. Okay, fine. I guess I have to go all the way here. Okay, so now we have seen. Now we see the photo.
Oh yeah, who's gonna find any clues? They're in the phone.
We gotta fix the phone.
Fix the phone.
Alright, now we gotta change some answers here too.
Gotta change.
Okay, so we've hit that keep out now.
I
don't know how Lemur and I did this without looking it up. Okay, so...
yeah.
Kano, 1905. Hachi. Okay, so this time we are going to chase after Palmer. That's the wrong jump. Whoopsie.
Yeah.
There we go.
So we had to chase them.
In order to get another jump.
Yeah. And he needed to make it. We for the chase a bitch.
Alright, there we go.
Had to chase after Palmer. It didn't matter if he didn't grab the vial. Something about the way this was playing out made Kano sure of it. Calling upon his rugby training, he broke into a sprint. Oh my god, we have rugby training. Holy shit. Deftly dodging through the crowd, Kano kept Palmer on sight. He would catch him. One way or another, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you. Anyway, he was going to bring this bastard down.
Sorry.
No, let's keep going. Oh shit! Look at our rugby training go! See that coming, did you? Last, he drew within striking range and immediately dived into an expert tackle. Caught Palmer around the waist, and their bodies collided with a violent force.
Ugh.
Ooh. Palmer went down, flailing, and hit the pavement hard. Even then, he tried to resist, but Kano straddled him and held him down. Tell me the password! Kano snarled. Kidnapper sneered triumphantly.
You made the wrong choice.
Wrong choice. The Wa is...
The Wa is out now. Now nobody can be saved. You've just killed everyone in the city.
No, Kano shot back. Nobody's gonna die.
And what makes you so sure of that?
The way you fled the scene just now. If the virus had been in those vials, you could have never hoped to escape infection. Running off on foot would be pointless. Palmer said nothing. Which means there was no virus in those vials. They were just a decoy in order to buy you some time to escape. Now Palmer gritted his teeth and glared up at Kano. Look on his face confirmed the detective's hunch. But more importantly, it was your eyes. You didn't have the eyes of a man who was putting his life on the line.
My eyes? Who do you think you are, Sherlock Holmes?
Yes, a bitch. Anyway, I know full well the look in a man's eyes when he's willing to die.
Yeah. We saw
Earlier.
him douse himself in gasoline.
Yeah. The back of his mind, Kano replayed the moment when Tatano was doused in gasoline, all oily and shiz. He'd march down into the financial office to talk down the would-be arsonist. Now then, password. Give it to me now, bitch! Kano tightened his grip on Palmer's collar, but the man just gazed back at him with an icy glare.
Let me have Hitomi Osawa's blood. That was our original deal.
Kano wasn't surprised. He'd known it wouldn't be easy to get him to talk. Maybe it really would be impossible to strike a deal with Kanan. Without Kanan, sorry. If getting her on the phone wasn't an option, Kano had to figure something else out. Sweat beaded on his brow as he cast about other ideas. You heard of a love hotel? No, okay. No. Then he happened to catch sight of a car. Oh, that had been overturned by an accident nearby. Hello?
Kajiwara?
Kajiwara? Hello?
Oh no.
Yeah. Oh no, has spilled from the vehicle, creating a board dive for all the bit. Oh fuck!
Oh no.
Kano took out his handcuffs, then cuffed Palmer's arm to his own. Come with me.
Oh no.
Help to leave.
I don't like
Drinking
this.
is jammed and Mega's being let over the car. Without hesitation. Oh my god, he's pulling a Tatano, you guys.
I hate this.
Yeah, he's at the other pool of gasoline. Taking the handcuffs, he pulled Palmer down beside him. Kano pulled a lighter from his pocket. Palmer snorted.
And just what's this supposed to be,
Not kinky. Tell me the password.
Or else what? You'll light the gas? You'll be burned to a crisp yourself.
Yeah, probably. Kano heard the casual desperation in his own voice.
What the hell are you thinking?
The smile vanished from Palmer's face. Oh, Kano scowled at him.
Alright, do we just want to know the password? Are we getting revenge for our partner? Or even if I die, my friends will avenge me.
Damn it!
Your choice will have
shit.
consequences.
Well, I do just want to know the password.
So you want to go with A?
But what do you mean revenge for my partner? Like, what does that mean?
Cosplay detective.
Oh, that's right.
Remember?
Even if I die, my friends will avenge me. Wow, this is hard. let's I guess
Red or blue wire? Red or blue wire?
this is the scariest one. Maybe even if I die, my friends will avenge me. Like, if we seem crazier than him, he might cave.
You think that's gonna work on a dude that just threw up a bunch of vials of possibly virus into the air? Like, I'll click it. But
my friends sound like Kano. Wait, what? My friends? Wait, your friends? Wait, no, I'm reading the chat. Okay, okay, fine. We want to know the password.
Alright.
I just want to know the password.
If that's really what you're after, then you can't kill me.
Palmer said, Kano's locked eyes, both refusing to back down. The scent of gasoline fumes filled the air around them. Kano threw the slight spark so it would set off a massive fireball. No! Can't believe I got the lighter on.
This is the worst game of chicken I think I've ever played.
You can't be serious.
You can't be serious.
Dead serious. Wink wonk.
Oh.
Palmer's eyes fixed on a tiny flicker of flame. The password.
You value your life so little?
The password. In his mind, Kano could see the pages of his dick diary clear as day. Big dictum number 1. Never lose sight of what you're supposed to protect. Ever. Palmer glared in defiance. Kano brought the lighter closer and closer to the gasoline. He could practically feel his own life growing shorter as his hand descended. And yet he felt no trace of fear. His body was numb, his senses strangely distant. Time seemed to slow. The world around him dissolved into a blur. He was surprised at how calm and remote he felt. Here, in the midst of his life or death confrontation. And then, far in the depths of Palmer's eyes, he saw the fierce glint of doubt. He fixed his gaze on the point of weakness, and he did not look away. Palmer, shoulders slumped, perceivably. Now, Kano was certain of it. This was a man who'd never put his life on the line before. Chizuo's words sounded in the back of his mind. You need a cool mind, but a fiery spirit. Like this flame that's about to engulf you. Without both of these, what's worth is nothing.
Let me go. Promise to let me go and I'll tell you.
Is that your answer? I don't think we're quite under the situation here. Kano brought the flame still closer to the gasoline. Palmer's eyes went wide. No longer was he able to hide his trembling uncertainty.
Alright, I'll tell you. Just put that thing out!
Password first! Voice strangled snarl. Palmer gave up the password! Kano extinguished the lighter. Now shoot him. Pulling out his cell phone, Kano dialed Osawa. As he did, he recalled the last exchange with Stanley at the electronic shop. Looks like we'll be able to have that beer together after all. But Osawa didn't answer. Kano guessed immediately that something was amiss.
Detective!
Aji's voice was full of worry.
I've got Stanley on the line. He says the detective didn't know. And we have Aya Kamiki's voice again.
No.
Which means... Shibuya.
God damn it. Kano didn't get to hear that worst of Achi's words because we're fucking dead again. Thunderous blast hurled him to the pavement. Where had the explosion come from? Where did it go? Cotton Eye Joe, I don't know. Lighter certainly hadn't set the gasoline ablaze. Kano hadn't been that clumsy. But what had happened? Only one possible answer came to mind. Palmer had blown himself up. But that only confused Kano further. His captive had already given up the password. What would prompt him to set off a bomb at his conjecture? As he was losing consciousness, Kano continued to rack his brain. But he found no answers.
Alright, so we clearly have another bad end. With the mysterious explosion again.
Why does there keep being the explosion?
Well, because...
Password is banana.
Yeah.
I hope it is.
So last one tonight, we're going to do the Stanley jump because I don't think we can do the Stanley jumps first thing. Just because we have to sort of piece together Alfred's plans, and that's probably not good to do.
Is it bad that Hasbro doesn't think this guy is Alfred?
No, I mean, like, considering the fact that Stanley thought that Alfred was going to the lab, that means this guy couldn't have been Alfred, right?
Right.
Turning his attention back to the handbag, Stanley searched it more thoroughly and found a photograph tucked inside that he'd overlooked on his first inspection. What the hell? He stared at the picture, swallowing the lump in his throat.
Oh no, what did we find?
A picture of Maria, standing next to another young girl. There was something written in marker on the back. Me and Kanan, 7-30. Stanley hurriedly flipped the photo back over and looked at it again. What does this mean? The girl in the photo with Maria looked nothing like the Kanan who had been there at Endo Electronics, who had left with Maria and Tateno just a few minutes ago. But if the girl they were working with wasn't Kanan, then who was she? No. 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 Stanley felt his blood run cold. Could she be... Was she Alfred? The more he thought about it, the more it all added up. Assuming Alfred were masquerading as Kanan, the whole sequence of events suddenly began to make sense. She was strikingly audacious and fiendishly clever, but she hadn't outmaneuvered them just yet. As luck would have it, they still had a chance to stop her. And at long last, Stanley could see the outline of Alfred's plan. Her goal was to get the antiviral. But extracting the DDS from Hitomi's blood wasn't enough. Okoshi Pharmaceuticals still had the drug at their laboratory. The antiviral's value came specifically from having a monopoly on it, which meant that, in addition to obtaining the drug herself, Alfred also needed to destroy Okoshi's research facilities. That was the crux of her plan. The problem was finding a way to infiltrate those facilities. In all likelihood, Alfred's scheme went something like this. Have Maria Osawa kidnapped, then infected with the wall virus. After that, eliminate Tanaka. Once Osawa learned that Maria had been infected with the virus, he was certain to use the antiviral on her. But he'd need his partner Tanaka in order to access the storage facility, and Tanaka was dead. That was why Alfred had been masquerading as Kanan. Kanan was Maria's friend and an expert at hacking passwords. If she could secure Osawa's trust, he would let her into the research facility in order to carry out the hack. That's why Alfred, in the guise of Kanan, had saved Hitomi's life repeatedly. Getting Hitomi to trust her would likewise earn the trust of her father. There were still some finer details that remained a mystery. For instance, how was Alfred going to destroy the lab? Still, Stanley could look into that once he had her in custody. He needed to move quickly and stop her from ever getting into the Okoshi facility.
I fixed it.
Daisuke approached Stanley and held out Maria's cell phone.
Well, as best as I could at any rate. It looks like it'll get a signal, but whatever data was on it is all gone.
I see. Stanley took the phone and put it in his pocket. He'd hoped he might be able to learn something useful from it, but luck evidently wasn't on his side. He was just going to have to go up against Alfred with what he already had. Now that he'd guessed what was really going on, Stanley went to talk to Kano. You need to get to the Scramble without me, he said.
What?
Kano was visibly shocked.
Where's this coming from all of a sudden?
Please don't ask me to explain. Something else has come up and I have to see to it. Let's see if... Do I have to keep going? Oh, yep, I do have to keep going on this. Stanley hated having to do this. He wished he could explain everything. But if he made any unusual moves now, there was a risk that Alfred would pick up on it. It was better to keep his companions in the dark, just in case.
I understand.
Kano said.
The way you have to and come back soon.
I'm sorry. I wish I could tell you more.
It's alright. I'll find a way to get by.
Kano gave him the thumbs up. The sight brought back some painful memories. Up until just a few hours ago, Stanley had instinctively seen Kano as all too naive, and now he finally knew why. Kano was just like his younger brother, Frank. We're gonna skip past this,
Yeah! Sentimental thingies.
Yep.
Yeah!
Very cute younger brother shit, but...
Very nice.
Okay.
Back at Chicago.
Yep. So... The University of Chicago is a private university in Chicago, Illinois. Lauded as one of the foremost research institutions in the U.S., more than 90 alumni have been awarded the Nobel Prize. The school has made a number of major contributions to the world beyond simple academics, including the construction of the world's first artificial nuclear reactor, Chicago Pile 1, and the Chicago School of Economics, a school of economic thought that stresses monetarism.
And Chicago Fire.
I don't think that's what the University of Chicago put out, but, you know, like... Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
I care about you.
I've never seen Chicago Fire, just FYI.
I have.
The audience. Oh, you have?
I
Is
have.
it good?
It's just a drama. I was not into it, but...
Oh, okay.
Right.
Sorry to the Chicago Fire fandom.
Yep.
This deception would have been ruined if Mario were still conscious when Alphard showed up claiming to be Kaden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright, we're gonna dial up Tateno. Alright, listen carefully. Your life may depend on it, he said as soon as Tateno picked up. He knew that the detective wouldn't be able to respond openly since Alfred was right there with him. On the spur of the moment, Stanley devised a simple code for how he should answer yes or no. He told Tateno to respond with, "That's right," to mean yes, and "will do" to mean no. There was no time for anything more complex. Right now, Stanley just needed to stop Alfred from getting into the lab. He quickly explained his suspicions about Kanan. Tateno sounded distinctly unnerved. Weirdly enough, because, you know, he's in a van right now with a terrorist, but, you know.
Mm-hmm.
At any rate, Stanley said, you need to find a way to turn back without her realizing what's going on.
Will do.
Tateno replied. So he was going to head to the laboratory despite Stanley's instructions. Saving Maria is your top priority, isn't it?
That's right.
The detective's affirmation was firm. All right then, guess I'll have to head that way myself. In the meantime, do not let her inside that lab.
That's right.
Tateno was no match for Alfred. If she figured out what was going on, she'd probably kill him on the spot. Reassurance or encouragement would be meaningless right now. Instead, Stanley left Tateno with one final warning. Alright, if it comes down to it, just shoot her. Find some way to stall until we get there, or just keep Maria safe.
Shoot her?
Do you really think a bullet is going to take down Kanan?
No! I guess find a way to stall until we get there.
Okay. Like, I'm going to point out, this woman has had quite a few guns pointed at her at this point. Find some way to stall until I get there. If she realizes we're onto her, you're done for. Tateno hung up without saying anything. The area around Dogenzaka was in disarray. The government had declared a state of high alert, and the people on the street were milling around uneasily, unsure of what was going on. Modern-day Japan lacks both the infrastructure and the legal framework to properly deal with a large-scale bioterrorist threat. Coordination between the police, Japan Self-Defense Force, JSDF, health centers, and so forth would be a monumental task. In all likelihood, if a bioweapon was ever unleashed there, the target site would fall into chaos. The main roads had been blocked off, and automobiles and motorcycles were at a standstill. Some vehicles had overturned on the curb in an apparent attempt to circumvent the blockade. Any moment now, Kano's team would be putting their plan into action at the Scramble. Stanley wasn't sure who they might have gotten to help, but Kano was certain to put them to good use. Please, stay safe. Don't you dare die on me. Stanley prayed silently as he darted underneath the railway overpass. He made it to his car, still parked on the roadside, and fortunately beyond the blocked-off area. Jumping in, he sped off toward the laboratory. As he drove along, Stanley again tried to deduce Alfred's plan of action. If Alfred herself was on the way to the lab now, then what was the objective of the fake who'd been sent to the Scramble? A call came in from Tateno. Stanley here. He picked up quickly, but as he did, he wondered, why was Tateno calling him? Alfred was right there. There was no way the detective should be risking a phone call. What's going on? Tateno said nothing. Stanley repeated the question. Still, Tateno did not reply. Stanley's apprehension spread like a droplet of ink in water. Hey! Has something happened? Hey! Answer me! The call cut out. Stanley hurriedly dialed Tateno's number, but he couldn't get through. Something had gone badly wrong, he was sure of it. Had he been too arrogant in thinking that he might be a match for Alfred? His worries turned to the team at the Scramble. What if they had walked into a trap? Figuring that it would be too dangerous to call Kano in the midst of the negotiations, Stanley instead dialed up Achi.
Mr. Stanley, what's going on?
To Stanley's relief, it sounded like things down at the Scramble had gone well enough, so he asked Achi to put him on the phone with Kano.
Yeah, give me a sec.
The young man said.
Detective!
Stanley could hear Achi shouting on the other end.
I've got Stanley on the line. He said that Detective Totno.
There was a sudden tremendous boom, and then the call cut out. Stanley's jaw dropped. He felt his mind emptied out by despair. He opened his mouth, but he couldn't even bring himself to scream. All he could do was curse inwardly again and again. Stanley slammed his fist into the steering wheel as hard as he could. Then he did it again, and again, and again, and again, and again. He didn't stop even when his fists were marred with blood. I think he's guessed what's happened. Alright, so we have hit, yet again, another bad end. Because
Stanley's
the call got
very
shut.
bad day.
Yeah, he's not having a good day, man. Alright, so we are going to end here for tonight.
Damn it! Everything sucks!
Because we have the Tatano jump that we'll be able to make and unlock that. Next...
Found out, didn't she?
Yeah, well, we'll find out. Next stream is Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, like normal. That's all I got to say. Wash your hands, wear a mask, be safe, get vaccinated if you can, and we will be back in a couple days. Have a good night, all.
Bye.
Bye.